America spends more on defense than the next 12 countries combined, and yet in the war in Ukraine, where we're transferring billions of dollars of weapons, we're running out. The stockpiles and munitions that we've built up for decades have disappeared, and in some cases there is real fear that in 2023, some of our key munitions will actually go to zero. How did the greatest industrial country on the planet suddenly become unable to build defense products? And part of that answer might be right here in Brooklyn. Right downriver from me here in Domino Park was the Brooklyn Navy Yard, one of the largest shipyards in the world. Founded in the 1800s, it ballooned to more than 70,000 workers during World War II, where it helped create dozens of warships that fought the Axis powers in Europe, helping America win World War II. But in the 1960s, it was decommissioned, and today it is a startup hub for frontier tech startups and commercial space. We spend more on defense than ever before. The United States this year requested more than $900 billion for defense and defense-related research, and with $842 billion of that going to the Department of Defense. Those are massive headline numbers, but there are also some troubling other numbers that go the other direction. The U.S. has been sending large quantities of defense equipment to Ukraine and Europe from our reserve stockpiles as part of countering Russia's war on Ukraine. Those stockpiles are increasingly emptying out to, quite literally, zero, and America's production capacity remains completely unable to take up the gap. The reason is simple. The end of the Cold War ushered in one of the greatest cost-cutting periods in America's defense history. A so-called peace dividend was declared, in which the huge funds that had been funneled to the Pentagon for decades would be rerouted to other programs or to tax cuts as a reward for America's seeming victory over the USSR. And while the war on terror dramatically increased funds for basic equipment, troop recruitment, and overseas contingency operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, those wars were very different than what's taking place in Ukraine. Today, it's about heavy weaponry to fight Russia's tanks and planes, rather than the frenetic counterinsurgency operations that centered on agility and intelligence gathering analysis rather than sheer firepower. Now, all of a sudden, after decades of buying limited quantities of heavy armaments, the U.S. suddenly has insatiable demand for almost any quantity of these weapons. In the intervening 3 decades, though, the factories that built them were wasted and dissolved, leaving America's defense industrial base unable to cope with demand. And that's not a failure of industry, but rather of the Pentagon's approach to the private sector. The Pentagon, and really the Congress behind them, think in terms of crisis response, surges, and instant demand. The military doesn't need a certain weapon for years, and then all of a sudden, it needs as many as it can lay its hands on. Oh, and at the same time, you have to build these products under defense acquisition rules that limit profit margins and go through one of the most Byzantine purchasing processes in existence in the United States. That's just not compatible with the fundamental way private industry operates or gets financed. Scaling up production means 2 things. You've got to build the physical infrastructure, the factory, the production lines, the transportation and logistics to get the product from where it was manufactured to where it needs to be deployed. And then you need the workforce, the workers who are going to actually do the work of manufacturing, which is incredibly complicated and requires years of training and apprenticeship to become proficient. Both physical and human capital take years to develop, which means that the Pentagon's whiplash of demands can't be satisfied without serious long-term consideration of the health of the industries it relies upon. Whiplash doesn't make the industrial base build faster, and it doesn't supply the critical products needed by America and its allies in theaters all around the world.